Hey guys, what's going on? This is Deadly. Welcome back to another episode of Ask Deadly. I haven't done one of these for a couple weeks, so I'm going to be reading some of the most popular comments from my most recent videos that I've uploaded this week, because there's a few topics I wanted to discuss and a few controversial comments that have been picking up a lot of traction and some things I want to address, especially when it comes to DayZ combat, playstyle, and a few other things related to the channel. So let's get started. So the first question this week comes from the crossbow pistol scope video where I killed a player that gave up mid-firefight after they ambushed us from behind. So we later learned that the guy was actually writing in the comments that the only reason why he put his hands up was because he ran out of ammo and I shot his friend in the face. But for whatever reason, people seem to have, I believe, shut the video off immediately after I killed that guy. The reason why you would want to kill somebody who just fired at you and they put their hands up is it's most likely a trap. If you are in a situation where you're in starry tents and you're being under fire and somebody just randomly puts their hands up, that's a red flag, man. And you have to make that decision whether or not you kill that person that just tried to kill you immediately. It's the safest approach to do that. Or do you stand in the middle of the open trying to rob that guy and knock him out or tie him up or do whatever and try to trust that guy to not backstab you? What I feel a lot of people neglected, again, I'm really surprised with this. I do believe a lot of people just simply shut off the video right away after I shot the guy, was just 2 seconds later, two of his friends, also wearing white armbands, killed Aces and I just a few moments after. So I was actually rather shocked with the amount of people that were a little butthurt about this one. It's very clear that we made the right decision killing the player who put their hands up in that encounter. And if you didn't see it, definitely go and watch that. I'll try to remember to include a link in the description box. But if I don't, then just go to the crossbow pistol scope and you be the judge. But again, you cannot benevolently trust every person in this game. I find people forget about that. DayZ is not a game where people tell the truth. People will try to pull fast ones and use anything to their advantage. And in this case, he probably did the right call. He was out of ammo, he was wounded, his friends were directly behind him, ready to line up on us as soon as we got close to talk to the player. Anyway, I always find it pretty funny because I think no matter what, it's like a lose-lose with some of the hero players out there. There's a lot of people that just don't want to see any level of hostility or combat in DayZ. And to those people, I just don't understand. I just don't. I don't get it. I don't understand what type of game you want DayZ to be. It's very confusing to me. DayZ is a world without rules. You're just going to have to learn to accept it or find a different game that is a little bit more light for you, that forces players to work together rather than allowing them to make the choices themselves. Alright, so this is a relevant one because this week there was a player banned from PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds for stream sniping when there actually wasn't any proof to back up the ban. So, we had a situation this week where we had a Bambi that went up to my location during the stream while I was AFK, asked for the gunslinger through the wall, and started running away to the Northwest Airfield. It's quite obvious that that dude was watching the broadcast. Later on, that same player started running in front of us towards a white barn and then killed themselves once they got to the white barn as a complete Bambi. Made no sense. A few minutes later, we got attacked by a lot of different enemies, around 4 or 5 different enemies at the fortress building down the way. Aces and I were able to kill all of them but one that was able to make an escape in the woods, but it was immediately banned for stream sniping only a few seconds later. Now, in the battleground situation, the general consensus from many of the people on Reddit, this has been a very interesting conversation because it's obviously relevant to myself and many other DayZ broadcasters out there. Who takes up the responsibility? Are we forced to put a delay on our broadcasts when playing games like DayZ in order to prevent against stream sniping? Like, should we be super open about our server that we play on and just allow it and accept it? Or do we play on servers where it's against the rules to stream snipe, and if you're caught doing it, then you'll get banned. If you don't get caught, you're just playing on the server and you're in a completely different area, mind your own business. Everything's okay, essentially. For us, on the DayZ Underground community, if you get caught stream sniping, like killing somebody, killing a streamer while also being in the chat at the same time, that is terms for ban. And we ban a lot of people on a daily basis through methods that I will not disclose, but they are extremely effective. And for this particular case, I did not even report this guy. Quantum AI, one of the admins of the DayZ Underground community, was in my channel at the time, scanning the chat and the server for anybody who was actually in both at the same time. And if it just so happens that that person is constantly in my area, it's pretty safe to say that that person is most likely watching the stream to get an advantage to either force and meet me. Not everybody wants to kill me, but use the stream to find me and force an encounter, which is it's not authentic and it doesn't make good content, or try to kill me and prove a point because I make a lot of PvP videos. People seem to think I'm some sort of PvP god. That is not the case. I make a fuck ton of mistakes, and I'm certainly not the best survival shooter player out there. But nonetheless, it happens. So it is annoying. So on one hand, I understand the point. It should be up to the streamers or the server owners to decide what rules they place. But for games that are super competitive and open and are public matches, I think on public matches, you're going to have to defend against stream sniping yourself. Like in a game like PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. Like if you're being targeted constantly by stream snipers, it's a very difficult case to make why you would have such power to ban anybody you want while working with the admins. So I understand both sides of the coin. It's annoying for the streamer, but it's also annoying for the viewers, because what if it's just a coincidence and then mistakes get made and then this happens where it becomes a massive drama post all week and everyone's talking about it. So I think it's just be smart. And the admins, especially on the DayZ side of things, they're a lot smarter than some people give them credit for. And you'd be surprised, man, how many people get banned. It's actually quite scary. The amount of people that are actually into my server and watching my stream and using that to find me is actually quite staggering. And I also feel bad for those that get caught, because sometimes long-term members of my community think that there's just no way that they'll ever get caught, and they do, and then they get banned from my chat and from the server, and it's just it's not fun for anybody. So it's difficult, man, because if you put a delay on your stream, it completely disconnects you from your chat and community. So it can be hard. So yeah, I don't know, man. I'm stuck in the middle with it. I'm not too sure what my opinion is on it. I think for closed-in games like DayZ, it makes sense to have some sort of prevention. But for big, open, public games, I think it's up to the broadcaster. That's just the way I feel about it at the moment. But yeah, it's an interesting debate, that's for sure. All right, next question. What is your background music? Most, if not all, of my background music comes from a website called Epidemic Sound. And I have an Epidemic Sound music license. You need one to use the music for commercial purposes. Now, I don't know if you find, like, let's say you somehow stumble upon a library of Epidemic music and you use it for non-commercial purposes. Like, for example, you're not a YouTube partner and you don't run ads on your content, I think you're good to go. But yeah, when it comes to YouTube multi-channel networks, I hate to say it, guys, but there's just a lot of people that want to screw you over to turn a quick dollar. And that's probably the main reason why I decided to stop working in that industry and building networks for other companies out there and building sales teams. I just got so annoyed and fed up with it. And I'm not sponsored by Curse, or I guess now it's Twitch, Twitch Union for Gamers. I'm not sponsored by them, but I honestly have to say that Curse Union for Gamers, now Twitch Union for Gamers, is probably the best YouTube partnership you can get as a gaming YouTuber. Okay? Fuck Broadband, fuck Machinima, fuck Polaris, fuck Freedom. They're all terrible in comparison to Curse. And the reason is most of these other companies are going to try to swindle you for a smaller revenue share. Most do around 60-40 or 70-30 splits. They try to trick you in like you don't read the contract, and then the next thing you know, 40% of your hard work is going to some other person and this other company that may provide you with terrible services, like barely any licenses. They offer you sponsors and ad buys that never happen, these affiliate deals and yada yada yada. You don't want these sponsorships anyway. For the most part, you don't want to be sitting on your like YouTube channel like promoting a product that you know almost nothing about. Most of the time you're promoting products that you don't even own. They're just affiliate codes, and it just seems fake and stupid. So just don't do that. But anyway, long story short, Curse, stand-up company acquired by Twitch, Union for Gamers, created by YouTubers who were fed up with the amount of bullshit out there, and we have music licenses with the deal. You pay 10% of your YouTube revenue. For me, that ends up being about $50. $50 a month gives me a lot of music licenses, social media tools, and a platform where I can monitor my channel. And it's like I'm actually ending up saving money on my music licenses. It would cost me more if I wasn't with Curse, actually. So in the end of the day, I'm actually benefiting financially by being a partner with them. So again, they offer like a 90-10 revenue split. You get all the music licenses that you want. Incredibly easy login and accessibility. There is obviously a catch though. With Curse, I believe, now correct me if I'm wrong, I think they may have changed their requirements, but I'm pretty sure you need 1,000 subscribers to qualify and possibly 1,000 views per day. And that can be pretty hard to acquire at the start, but you probably wouldn't be making much money, or you wouldn't really need the access to the music license right at the gate anyway. So my honest take on it, remain independent until you can join Curse. And then as soon as you can join Curse, join them. And trust me, you'll thank me for it. All right, if you made it this far, thanks for sticking with me. This has to be one of the longer QAs that I've had in a while. But it's been a busy couple weeks. The last thing I wanted to touch on, and probably a very small amount of people who wrote the comments about this, are going to be even at this point in this QA. But I talked about how difficult the scavs were in Escape from Tarkov. So we're shifting gears. The closed beta testing came out this week, and I made a video called Scavs Are Hard, where I mentioned the fact that I hope they don't tone down the scavs. Well, holy shit, man. Did I get belittled in the comments. I made a lot of people mad with that. There's a lot of Russell Jimmies. I'm sorry, okay? Listen, I'm a psychopath that loves a challenge, all right? Fuck, I know I'm in the minority here, okay? I get it. You guys, it's fucking dumb. I do understand. Like, sometimes you'll just get, like, 3 tapped by a scav from, like, 300 meters away. I get it, man. I understand. It's fucking bad, and they need to tone it down. But my God, whenever you complete a raid and you actually get a chance to kill a couple of those crazy T1000s, you get such a rush, and it's such a good feeling because it's hard, man. It's hard, you know? I feel like there's not enough hard video games out there. Y'all need to man up, all right? And accept a challenge. I think this is too easy. I would hate, it's gonna happen, I think. But I really hope that the scavs don't get toned down to the point where there's such a bunch of pushovers that it doesn't make the game fun anymore. Right now, they're probably the most difficult they will ever be. So try to, you know, build a strategy to defeat them, or start taking them a little bit more seriously, and hopefully you'll actually get a win or two. But don't you worry, they will be definitely nerfed as soon as possible. But I've been having some successful runs, and maybe subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want to learn more about how I'm defeating the scavs right now on their hardest difficulty. Even with a Makarov, I'm starting to really figure it out. And what's crazy about it is the strategies that I'm using now are really extreme, but they work. And it's just you're not able to move so freely around the scavs like you used to be able to do. And I don't think you should ever be able to walk up and like stab a scav in the face whenever you're like right in front of the guy and he's pointing your gun, like his gun right at your chest. I think that's really silly. So there's a fine line between like really challenging and fun and really challenging and stupid. And right now it is definitely leaning towards the more challenging and stupid. But for the hardcore gamers out there like myself, this is the Dark Souls of first-person shooters, and let's just enjoy that for the short time that it is. All right, what a doozy, man. This one felt a little bit more like a podcast than me reading the comments. I like the vibe. In the future, I'm going to try to go a little bit more into detail and pick more interesting questions. And I would love to actually start taking questions in controversial moments and debates and arguments for my weekly videos on top of comments that you guys leave me in the description box below. But if you guys do have any questions that you want me to read for next week, we do this every single Sunday night, then do so in the comments. I'll see you guys during the daily live streams every single morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and Sundays at noon. And also check out the DayZ videos. A new one should be going live tomorrow. Have a good night, guys. See you tomorrow.